For the past 2 years or so, we've been ranking every MCU movie based off of our own, frankly superior opinions, then posting them online for your scrutiny. Now, another movie has been released and ready to be added to the list. This time, it's the return of the foul-mouthed Deadpool, now joined by his stabby friend, Wolverine.
In this video, we're going to talk over our thoughts and reactions to all of the goings-on in the movie, and then decide where it ranks within the rest of the MCU. Oh, and be warned, full spoilers ahead, so if you've not seen the movie, duck out now and head back later once you've caught up.
Deadpool and Wolverine is great. It achieves exactly what it sets out to do, which is be raunchy, gratuitously violent, and childishly funny with a smidge of heart. If you go into this expecting more than that, expecting some kind of Schindler's List level plot and emotion, not only are you a moron, but you'll be disappointed. It's far from perfect, and when it ended I knew less about Deadpool's standing within the MCU than before it started, so God knows what's going on with that, but that doesn't mean I didn't have a hell of a time. While the film is obviously filled to the brim with cameos, a good chunk of them are treated as real characters and are in the film for a good chunk of time. Seeing Wesley Snipes' blade walk into shot had me smiling a shit-eating grin. I do have to say though, there were some cameos missing I would very much like to have seen. Those being Thomas Jane as the Punisher, Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, and frankly I would have swapped out Elektra for Ben Affleck's Daredevil any day of the week. We also got introduced to Cassandra, the murderous twin of Professor X. I rather enjoyed her as the villain for this movie. Both Deadpool and Wolverine have very physical, stabby stab powers, so having a character whose abilities are entirely mental was an entertaining counterbalance. She also did something to me that I cannot explain. To quote Deadpool, my underwear was getting tighter.
I had a good time with this movie. Reynolds is as funny as ever, and I can't help but respect how hard Disney went in on themselves. For me though, my biggest praise of this movie goes to Hugh Jackman. It's not a secret how much I love Wolverine, particularly Jackman in that role, and I think he is once again outstanding. The scene in the car in particular where he tells Deadpool exactly what he thinks of him is fantastic. And let's be honest, I'm always happy to see him with his shirt off. Each fight sequence is also very high quality with epic choreography, cinematography and slapstick comedy throughout. The title sequence is a standout for me, along with an almost Avengers level final battle. Marvel, I think, also found the right seasoning of cameos this time round, with unexpected yet enjoyable returns and addition to some famous faces. Bonus points for Calvarine's arm reload, claw deployment. However, all of this rounds off with a film that in terms of overall plot and the bigger picture, for me once again felt a bit flat and meaningless. I love how this movie handled itself as a fun, action-packed romp, but I would have loved for it to have cemented larger ramifications for the MCU going forward. It seems, however, that this is more a farewell of universes of old than a continuation of the current one going forward. I mean, the film makes enough jokes about the MCU being on a bit of a downward slope to prove the Marvel bosses know things aren't what they once were. Kevin, if you know that's the case, don't joke about it, just fix it.
So where do we place this movie in our ranking? It has a lot going for it.
Outrageously funny, with pretty much every joke landing.
It has fantastically violent, well choreographed and well shot action sequences.
An absolute banger of a soundtrack.
Hugh Jackman's abs.
Cameos are treated with respect and in many cases as fully fledged characters.
Interesting and peculiarly arousing villain.
Superhero suits that will make you nut.
Oh, and as mentioned in a previous video, Nathan Fillion is a planetary treasure, so this movie gains several points.
Dogpole. It does also have a couple of things working against it.
Not much of a real plot, if that's what you're looking for.
Somewhat confusing where we stand with Deadpool in the MCU.
Although a banger, the soundtrack was sometimes used a bit haphazardly.
Missing an opportunity to cast Nicolas Cage in your movie is a blunder.
With all the points and after careful consideration, we use the power of science to determine that Deadpool and Wolverine lands at a solid 10 in our list. We couldn't bring ourselves to put it above the Avengers movies, but anywhere less than the top 10 felt unjust. At least until something else comes along.
Where would you have placed the movie? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date with everything else going forward and where we rank future movies. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we shall see you then.